name is Jenna Hughes, and this is my story. I grew up in church. I always went with my grandma, and I always sang in church. I was in the choir. I always grew up hearing about God's never-ending love in church, but I was forced to go, and I don't think I ever really experienced it. My dad died when I was 16 years old. He had suffered a long battle from lung cancer. He had got saved about a week before he had passed away. He had called me and told me that a pastor had come into his room and prayed with him, and he accepted Jesus Christ in his heart. And I remember him telling me that that was the best feeling in the whole world. And I remember wanting that. I wanted to feel what he felt. But then when he passed away, I thought, why would God do that to one of his children? My dad was supposed to be a child of God, and he just let him die from cancer. Why would he do that? And I didn't really understand it at that time. I really began to wonder if there even was a God. I stopped going to church ever. I didn't go ever. If somebody talked to me about God, I wouldn't talk to him about it. I didn't want to talk about it at all because I didn't believe him anymore. I fell into a deep, dark depression after that. I began to do a lot of bad things. I began to cut myself. I began to drink. I began to party every weekend. If I wasn't partying on the weekend, I would be getting drunk throughout the week. And it came to a point where I was getting drunk every day, and my family had no idea. Would just pretend like there was nothing going on, and I was happy all the time on the outside, but on the inside I was slowly dying. And at that time, that's really what I wanted. I didn't feel like my life was worth anything. I felt useless. I felt like no matter what I did, it wasn't good enough. And I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And then I got married to my best friend, and we had a little boy. And after an alcohol-free pregnancy, the first thing that I wanted was a drink. So of course, I was responsible. I would always make sure that my husband was watching the baby, or we had a babysitter. I never drank around him. Like I said, I hid it very well. And I would still continue to drink. Alcohol was still a staple in my life. I depended on it. Eventually, my friend Nikita invited me to church a few times. She kept asking me to go, and so I decided I would go with her one time. The next Sunday when I came to church, Mark talked about how church is a hospital for the broken, and how you don't have to be perfect to come to church. And that was totally against everything that I had ever heard before. And he said that, no matter how hard things get, that you're not going through that situation alone. And to always tell somebody about those struggles and let them know about it. That way you don't have to go through it alone. They can pray for you and they can help you. And that really changed me. That service changed my life. And so I broke down and I cried. And my best friend sat next to me and prayed with me and cried with me. And that was the day that I gave my life to Christ. I renewed my relationship with him, and I felt that feeling that my dad had felt, and it was the best feeling in the whole world. The war that was waging in my body had ended. Being a Christian and knowing that God will never give up on me is the best thing in the whole world. Even though I have a rough past and I've done things that most people may regret, I have faith that God is going to use my life to change somebody else's life and to let them know that God is always going to be there and that there's hope in the Lord.